What's up, YouTube? It's Vic. I'm back, and today I'm back with another flip, and today we are flipping this house. Okay, man, I'm gonna be showing you how you can consistently get deals like these on a property like this and make $5,000 to $10,000 per deal without using any money out of your pocket. And I'm gonna show you the whole game right here in this video. But before we get into that, I want you to subscribe to this channel, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be dropping videos at least once a week on how to flip houses like this or flip contracts on houses like this. And also I flip cars on my channel also, so stay tuned, and here we go. Okay, this house is a house that has a distressed owner. It's an older gentleman. He had this property as a rental over here in Daytona Beach, Florida. The property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. No, it's a 3-bed, 1-bath home. It's a wood frame home. It needs a total rehab inside. The older gentleman lives in California. I contacted him. I found this house, what we call driving for dollars. It's where you go out and you drive and you look for properties like this that are abandoned or have high grass or a lot of mail, just signs that no one pretty much lives in the property, and that the property is under distress. And then what you do is this system called skip tracing to find the owner, where you look in the county records or city records and you find the owner's name and contact information. You contact the owner, and once you contact the owner, you work out a deal. If they want to sell the property, you work out a deal. You get the property under contract, and once the property is under contract, at that point you have interest in the property, and you can sell that interest over to another investor who doesn't really have the time to to find these deals that you find for them. But this property here, I got under contract at $39,000 with the owner. Me and him came to an agreement at $39,000. It was $10,000 owed in back taxes, so he'll be walking away with $29,000 after he pays off the taxes. And I sold this over to a realtor who has an investor that they deal with that purchased this property for $50,000. So after the closing costs and the commissions for his realtor and my $5,000 assignment fee, this property sold at $50,000. And so I walked away. I sold it for $44,000 exactly. So I walk away with $5,000. I put nothing down in escrow because the deal went so fast. It was a total of 3 days I had this property, so it kind of went pretty fast. Most of them will. If you got a good deal, your deal shouldn't last that long. It should be 2 or 3 days before you can get it out the door. So I know if you're asking yourself, like, how do you know if it's a good deal? How do you know it's a good price? I'm gonna go over all of that. Initially, you do not have to put any money down on a property like this unless you can't negotiate the EMD, or which is the escrow, the amount of money that you have to put down in with the title agency or attorney, depending on what state you're in, which I'll explain all that later. I'm basically gonna go into my computer and I'm gonna show you how you can find these if you're not driving for dollars, because driving for dollars is the total free way of getting these type of deals, or finding these type of deals where you drive around and you find a property, you skip trace, and you skip trace the owner's name, and then you call the owner. But I have a system, it's called PropStream. I'm gonna put a link in the bottom of the description of the video so that you can get a free trial of PropStream. I think it's like 7 or 14 days. You get a free trial of it, so you can try it out before you have to before you have to pay anything out of pocket. So just click on the link, and if you want to follow along so you can see how easy the system is to use, just click on the link in the description of this video and like pause it, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna be inside of my computer, and we are gonna get to the meat and potatoes. All right, so I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. And before we jump in my computer, what I want to do is I want to just go over what we're looking for. And what we're looking for is motivation. We're looking for motivated sellers. You're looking for a situation in a property that you know somebody owns that no one's living in. It's distressed itself, or the situation of the owner is distressed, meaning like things like pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, liens, things of that nature. And a lot of times you can see in the property whether they have liens or not, by when you have windows boarded up and stuff like that, high grass. A lot of times if you see those papers that are taped to the windows, those a lot of times have to do with liens, things of that nature. So it'll be pretty much apparent on the property, somewhere on the property, that the property is in distress. So those are a lot of things, if you're driving for dollars, what you want to look for on the property. But when we go into my computer and PropStream, there are different ways to look for motivation through also like pre-foreclosures and things that you can't see when you're just driving around. So we're gonna go in to PropStream. Like I said, you can click on the link in the description in order to get the free trial of PropStream, and you could be able to go through it with me, and maybe you get your first deal in your trial period. You never know. So let's hop into my computer and let's get going. Okay, now that we're in my computer and that you have clicked on the link and got your PropStream 7-day trial, now you should see this screen once you're in to your account. The first thing you want to be looking for when you're looking for a motivated seller is you want to get your deal. You want it to be in a hot area. You want to be in an area where pretty much it's a lot of other flippers, a lot of other interest in flipping or purchasing houses or properties at the time. So pretty much what you want to do on this screen right here, if you want to zoom in, you can hit your control button. If you're on a Windows, you can zoom in to your area wherever you are. I'm in Florida. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go over here to this tab right here, this analytics tab, and you want to go over to price growth. What this does is it basically is going to show you where the price growth is in the most in the time period. We're going to go with 6 months. 6 months to 90 days is that window period that you want to be in front of. Okay, so this sometime it takes a minute to load. Just depends. Might have to zoom in a little closer, but I don't know. There it is. It's starting to load. Sometimes it does take a little minute to load. All right. As you see, by this right here, the red areas are where you want to pretty much, red and orange is where you want to pretty much be at. So I try to stay over more in the south. So I just kind of zoom in to some of these areas here like this. You kind of like, you just zoom in onto an area. I kind of get like a main town. Can't really see it a lot with it on. Sometimes you just turn it back off. I'm gonna go with Georgetown. So really at this point, all I gotta do is come up here and I can put in Georgetown. You just type it in up here, Georgetown, South Carolina. And then what it's gonna do is gonna populate a list of properties that it's basically fall under all of these categories, whether it's been on the MLS, pre-foreclosures, auctions, bank owned, and it's just basically all of these properties that could be potential motivated sellers. So what we want to do is we want to filter down, because it's like 23,000. That's a large list, and a lot of the situations that are in this list you might not want to focus on. A lot of people, it's better to just focus on a certain niche or a certain area. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for like tired landlords, and I'm gonna show you how to pretty much find the tired landlord. So pretty much it's gonna be somebody who's a non-owner occupied, meaning that their actual address, the address that they have on file with the city or county, is opposite than the property that it is. So that is what you want to look at if you're looking at that. You don't want to be vacant necessarily. Vacant doesn't necessarily mean that the property is empty. Vacant means that they're not answering the mail at that property by the county record. So vacant, in my opinion, vacant isn't a really good list to go off of, because you don't really get a lot of it's people that are answering their mail and they basically can't be found by anybody. So it's going to be harder to skip trace, and from my experience, it's harder to skip trace vacant list and get any feedback on it. All right, so I just put any, so there will be some vacates in there. We'll go down to property characteristics, and we're going to do single family homes. We're going to do multifamily 2 to 4 and multifamily 5+. That's like duplexes. We're going to stick with those, and that'll be it for that. All of them we're going to go with not off market. We don't want the property to be on the market. Ownership type, individual. You don't want to deal with a corporate, trust, or bank. It's a lot to go through those to get in contact with some of those people, and it's harder to, most of the corporate and or bank owned, it's a lot to go through to get those deals. So as a beginner, I would kind of stay away from those until you get a little bit more experience. We'll go over here to years of ownership, and I'm gonna go with 10, because you kind of want it to be somebody who has owned the property for quite a bit of time, and they might have had to rehab it a few times, and they might be tired of it or whatever. So that's pretty much the list we're looking for. We're gonna go down here to valuation. You want equity. I usually put 70%, meaning that they have at least 70% equity in the property. The estimated value, I'm not gonna bother that right now, only because I don't know the exact, I don't know that area that well, and I don't know really what's going on. So I'm gonna look at a wider variety of this list. So I'm gonna close it and see what my list is down to. My list is down to 1270. So that's still a lot of properties, but that's good. That's a good list to call. And you could go in here, and I'm gonna just kind of show you some of the things you can kind of do with this. All of this data, man, data is king when it comes to this stuff. Basically, this taps into the MLS, and you have access to the same thing that most realtors have access to. Not everything, but the amount of information that's in this system is amazing. But let's look at some of the pictures of this property. You can go through and kind of look and see what they have here. You can kind of tell this property is under distress. A lot of times these pictures are from the last time that it was listed on the MLS, and that's where these pictures are coming from. So you can't take these pictures for being that current, the current shape of the property. But you can go down here. This isn't even guaranteed, because sometimes these Google Maps aren't updated, but you can kind of see where what the property looks like, or torn down or something. So if you can't skip trace, the good thing about ones that have been on the MLS, if you can't skip trace the actual owner, which the owner's information is right here, they give you all the owner's information. They give you the actual address, all the information about the house, the tax information, the last tax assessment, all that information come down there. But if you can't skip trace, which I'm gonna show you how to skip trace this list in a minute. If you can't skip trace, you can always come down here, and this is the listing agent that listed this property at some point, and maybe you can get in contact with this listing agent and try to find out if the listing agent can get in contact with the seller to maybe renegotiate a deal. This is a good little list of properties that you could go through and kind of look at all of that information. Oh, I didn't even hardly show y'all anything yet. These are the linked properties. A lot of times, if it's a landlord, they'll have their property, their primary property address there, and these will be all their other properties. Sometimes you'll see them where they have 75 properties they own. There's a clear indication that it's a landlord. You got tax information about the property, mortgage and transaction. You can pay to get the actual mortgage information about the property. But also, this is the real interesting part. You can look in and see what the comparables of the property is, because they give you up here. Sometimes if it's an open mortgage, it'll tell you how many mortgages they got open, how much money is left on the mortgage, any involuntary liens. They show you how much equity they have in the property compared to the estimated value. So they have 100% equity in it. Tell you how much the monthly rent is in the area, the average sales in the area, how many comparables there are, and how long properties usually stay on the market in that area. The 3.2 is, it's just all this information. And then you can go down here and look at the comparables in the area to see other properties that have sold in the area and how they compare to your subject property. So I mean, there's a lot of potential right here in this property. So this would be actually a good one to maybe contact this owner and try to make a good deal with it. I would say they try to sell it, if it's still available, they try to sell it for $29.9. I would try to get it at 20. I would try to come in at 20, or I would try to get it at 20, maybe 15. And then you could always come in when you go down here to these comparables, like we were just looking. And then you always got this guy right here, whoever just purchased this property. You could just look at the details of this property. This is just how simple it is. This person right here purchased this property for $25,000. It's somebody that you know's purchased a property for $25,000 in this, right in this same area. And you can skip trace this person, which is Deborah Grant. They've owned this house for a year. And they sold it 93. They sold it for 93. So that was a flip this person made. They had a mortgage on it, but they sold it for $93,000 after she purchased it. This is the person that bought it now. Basically what I would have to do is find out who you could always go to this property and go down here. What I would do at this point is probably try to contact this listing agent to find out who the seller of this property was, because more than likely that listing agent deals with that investor's properties, and try to see if you could try to run the deal through them if you could get it at that price. And that's pretty much how simple you can make it with having this prop stream system. Or you could go out and drive, and that's still just as good, because going out and drive, you can find stuff that might not meet a criteria that you put in on here. So either way, it's good. So what I'm gonna do right here, right now, is I'm just gonna, it's simple, click like that, collect all 1270 of these, add to list. I'm gonna create a new list. And this list is gonna be called Georgetown, South Carolina. What are these? Tired landlord. Save that list. Close. Then you can come down here to my properties. Go down and find it. Where is it? Georgetown Tired Landlord list. And then
It's simple. Click. You get first. Just to show you how it is, man. You could do a small list if you wanted to, and just go with the first 10. Skip trace the first 10 list, and what you want to do is see you only paying $1.20 for the first 10 on that list, and then you'll get all of those. You'll get all of that information, and you could put it into a once you download it as a spreadsheet, it'll come out like this you could just basically go through it and call the numbers that they provide for you. A lot of time, a lot of lists, the numbers like the vacants, a lot of the lists aren't as accurate because the information that they get on a skip trace, when they skip trace, that information is coming off of county records and off of county records, and some of them are coming off of the internet. So a lot of times the information isn't there for you to get in contact with. There's different forms of skip tracing. There's free forms of skip tracing. I'll make other videos on that. But for now, that was just pretty much the gist of how you want to go into PropStream, and you can sit from home and look through the data and try to find good deals from home and make a living doing just that. So if you like the content, man, please like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, peace.